So I grew up in Houston, Texas. Very early on, I wondered what it meant to really be a man. My dad was an alcoholic, my brother was in gangs, he was in jail. And so I kind of looked and said, what does it mean to be a man? Because I really don't like, I don't want to be an alcoholic. I don't want to end up like that. So I was introduced to, my first rapper that I was introduced was LL Cool J. Mama Said Knock You Out. That was the first song I remember listening to. And my brother was kind of the one who took me under his wing, and he showed me Tupac, he showed me Boys in the Hood and Blood and Blood Out, Scarface. And so I said, well, maybe that's what it means to be a man. And so when I was 14, I started battle rapping. I smoked the first time when I was 13. I didn't really do it too much. But as I continued rapping, and the way that you win a battle is that you have to embarrass the other person. My goal is I wanted to embarrass them so bad that they never wanted to rap again, or nobody wanted to come against me. And it was always cutthroat. And that's how I had to become. I had to become very cutthroat, and I'm short stature. So I had to be able to be a bully with my words. And so I had to undercut the other person. And if I'm rapping about smoking, but I'm not smoking, if I'm rapping about fighting or carrying guns and I'm not, then I'm gonna lose the battle, because they're gonna say, well, you're fake, you're not doing anything. So I had to start doing those things. And I kept going and getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And that's who I was. And one day, one of my friends, Sergio, he came and he was telling me about a church service he went to. And it was Spanish church, and I don't know Spanish, but he was telling me, he's like, man, it was amazing. They talked to me about hell, and they told me about the revelation, and they told me about what's gonna happen at the end of the time. And I got scared. And when he was telling me, I was like, that's amazing. I need to go, I need to find out more about this. So I went back to that church. I went 2 times. Wednesday, it was closed. I went the next week. Wednesday, it was closed. I said, all right, God, where are you at? I'm trying to find you and I can't find you. So if you want me, come get me. And I remember it was about 2 weeks later. I was walking across the school. So this is my school, and across the street, there's this little convenience store. And I was walking across. There was a guy on top of a van walking. He had a bald fade, tattoo on the back of his neck. Just like, he was just a short Hispanic dude. He looked like he was in a gang. And we were walking, I was like, why is this guy on top of the van? Like, he's gonna fall and break his head. So I was making fun of him to my friends. So we were probably about 50, 75 feet away from him. I had my back towards him, and my friend tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, hey, that guy's calling you. And I looked, and sure enough, it was the guy on the van. And I saw him, and he pointed, and he's like, come here. And I was like, all right. So I walk over there, and I got my fist balled. I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen? He jumps off the van, and he says, are you saved? And I look, and I was like, yeah, my homeboy's got my back if you wanna fight. And he starts laughing. He's like, no, he's like, if you died right now, would you go to heaven? And I was like, yeah, I was baptized, I made my first communion, I used to go to church, I smoke, but not as much as my friends. I rap about this, but they're really, robbing people. I'm not really doing that. And then he broke it down, the 10 Commandments, and at the end of the conversation, I was like, I'm not going to heaven. If I die right now, I wouldn't go to heaven. The problem is, I was living in both worlds. I was still rapping and smoking and partying, but I would go to church on Wednesday. And I thought it was okay, because that's kind of what I felt, is that if you made your communion and you say, Father, forgive me, I'm sorry, then you're okay. I remember I was laying on my bed and I said, God, I chased money, I chased drugs, I chased rap. Now I'm gonna chase you and see what happens. And I came and I just remembered, I was like, oh, today's Wednesday. And checked the time, I was like, I'm gonna go to youth group. And when I went, that's when I rededicated my life to Jesus. Since Jesus has been part of my life, I always filtered out what I listen to and what I watch. And I think it's very important, because what we listen to becomes what we think, and what we think becomes who we are. who I am today is very different than who I was. And so I have a program called Rap to Record. And in the program, I teach about alternatives. I wish I knew about alternatives when I was growing up. So before Jesus, I would say my life was, I was confused. I was looking for acceptance. I was lost. I was always not working, but I would say working. I was always trying to do enough so that people would accept me or love me, in a sense. And so after Jesus, I would say that I am accepted. I would say that I have peace. I didn't know the value of peace before, right? Everyone searches for happiness, but happiness is based on if everything's going good. When everything's not going good, you don't have that happiness. But even now, when everything's not going good, I have peace. And I know that it may not be where I want to be, but I can make it. So I have hope. And also, I think identity. Before I didn't have an identity. I was trying to search and be like this person, be like that person. But now I have an identity. I know who I am and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I feel my purpose is to help other people find their purpose.